Albus, you're probably gonna be the best, most obedient co-host because you're so terrified of me. Jason, gee, it's time for Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, I try not to freak you out anymore. I'll say I enjoyed it more than the first time. Really didn't care for it the first time I saw it. And I'll admit that I'm sure some of it was because I didn't see it until it'd been in theaters for a few weeks. It'd just been getting universal acclaim and praise, and I hadn't heard like one bad thing about it. And I feel like that skewed my my going into it to thinking it was going to be like amazing, and it was just alright. That coupled with the fact that I don't like the whole gimmick of the soundtrack. I'm still not a big fan of it. Some of the song cues work. I really like the opening scene. Hey, hey, what's the matter with you? That scene's great. That's a great intro. Great cue, great title. I like that. I like that whole. It's a great intro scene. A lot of the other cues don't work as well for me. I won't go into it. It's just generally not a fan of the soundtrack gimmick. My other problems stem from just it being really generic, I guess. Really, both times it's hard for me to remember any real particular scene. And I don't know why. I don't really care for. It's like this outer space world, and yet somehow they make it bland to me. It's not as interesting as like worlds that you see in Star Wars or Star Trek. Fifth Element. That's some ground floor sci-fi world building for you. That actually works. Only care for like maybe half of the Guardians of the Galaxy. My personal favorite is Drax, followed by Rocket. I like those two a lot. And then it's like me, and then probably Groot's probably number 3, and then Peter, and then Gamora. And that's kind of a bummer when you're like, Peter's your straight man. Like he's the only one who's not really. I mean, he is an alien, but you know what I mean. He's the main guy, and it kind of sucks when I can't really like get into that character. Or Gamora, who's like, she's like a bad guy, but she's probably like the next most, like the other 3 are like definitely the side characters. They're all like kind of dominated by their sorry. They're all kind of dominated by their quirks, their character quirks, Groot's Groot. He has a quirk. That's his whole thing. Rocket's like hyper violent and like, oh, he's a little angry raccoon, huh? And then Drax is. You could say that with all of them. Groot's Groot, Rocket's Rocket, and Drax is Drax. They're defined by their quirks. So when those are your favorite guys, that's fine. I like those characters. But when you don't really care for the main protagonist a whole bunch, and then like the runner up, I would say, is Gamora. It just kind of doesn't make for a great overall movie. That said, I liked it more this time. Still didn't love it, but I definitely enjoyed it a lot more. And I'm still looking forward to the second one. So it didn't deter me from that. Comedy is pretty hit or miss for me, but to be fair, I could probably say that about any Marvel movie. So, I mean, I guess that's still a knock. That's a knock against any of them. But and it sucks because when jokes don't land in Marvel movies for me, they really don't land. And they really stick out like a sore thumb to me. Maybe that's why I enjoy Iron Man 3 so much and the Avengers. And because there really isn't jokes in those movies that don't not land for me. All the jokes are great in those. Those ones are not hit or miss. But like every other one is pretty hit or miss. And that is kind of a flaw. Not a major one. The other thing is that really stuck out to me this time is I just didn't really pay attention to him as much the first watch through, but man, is Ronan not a great villain? Like, I can't even think of like a way to describe. Like, he takes the cake for he's the worst Marvel villain so far that I've went through, that I've rewatched and stuff. And that's because like he is kind of Malekith in a way where it's like, oh, I'm dark and broody, and I'm an actor with my face painted, and I'm just gonna kill everybody. But the difference between him and Malekith is, one, there seems to be like a little bit more with Malekith, like as little character development and backstory there is with Malekith. There's at least something, and there's like hardly anything with Ronan. And I really should have had Rowan be my co-host for this one, shouldn't I? Rowan, you get it? You're Albus. At least with Malekith, Christopher Eccleston brings a little bit of that character actor-y, like, panache to it. In this, Lee Pace brings nothing to the character, and that really bumps me out because I really like Lee Pace. I don't know, I really like him, but he brings nothing to this character, and it bums me out because he was like one of the reasons I was really looking forward to seeing this movie originally. So that hurts. That hurts me. None of the action sequences are interesting, which I've noticed is hit or miss over the course of the MCU. You've got your really good ones with fucking, again, my top three, Avengers, Winter Soldier, and Iron Man 3, all like the best action scenes in like all of Marvel. And then you've got ones where the fight scenes just fall flat and are just not interesting. Like, probably see both the Thor movies, first Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy. The only one in this, I like the beginning of the final battle, like all the spaceships going up against the Dark Aster or whatever, all the Nova Corps ships like going up against it, and there's the dogfights. That was pretty cool. I liked that. And then I kind of like the conflict like on the ship when they're on there. But that's about it. The part where they're all fighting on Xandar, I think that's where they are in the first, where they all like fight and they all technically meet. They're all fighting. The prison scene is really muddled for me. Kind of hard to follow. I'm trying not to be overly negative on this because I'm not getting even bad. It's not bad. It's just it's one of those middle of the road ones that Marvel does every now and then. Despite how much I don't like the I Am Groot, I do like Groot. I do like the character. He's cool. I get why people think why he's cool. He's pretty cute. Rocket is great. That's because I'm partial to raccoons. I love raccoons. And I'll admit while I didn't the part where Groot like quote unquote sacrifices himself didn't really get to me. The part where Rocket's like talking about like people keep calling him like vermin and a rodent and stuff, and he like goes off on how he was like experimenting and like all that was like, oh, that was actually a little like, that was cool. That was a little touching. But again, that could just be because I like raccoons and that'd make me sad. And Drax, I don't know. I just his whole like, he takes everything literally, and that I like it. I fall for that shtick. I like it, and Dave Bautista he pulls it off. He pulls off the whole thing. He's great. I feel like Chris Pratt, he couldn't really play Star-Lord differently. I feel like that is like, that's what people want. That's what people like. I don't know if I really dig Chris Pratt action hero, because I didn't like Jurassic World either. I don't know. Maybe it's weird because I like him. Like, I see him in like interviews and all that stuff. I really like him. I think he's funny and he's cool, and I like him in other stuff. I don't know. Maybe he's just like a touch too smug for me. He falls like on that like smug charming scale. He falls a little too much on smug when he needs somebody like like Nathan Fillion, who balances it perfectly in another sci-fi thing, not a movie or something, that has excellent world building. Firefly, just in case you haven't heard of it. He's so like fine-tuned. There we go. He's so fine-tuned to be like action hero, funny guy that it just rubs me the wrong way because it's too fine-tuned. It's all the cameos are great. John C. Reilly, seems cool. Peter Serafinowicz, Glenn Close. Yeah, all the cameos are great too. That's a cool thing that this movie did. That the other ones you'd see maybe like one little celebrity cameo, not Kevin Stanley, of course. But this one has it like peppered through, and I've heard the second one is like ridiculous with them. Howard the Duck. It's another celebrity cameo. Yeah, you know Howard the Duck. Yeah, Guardians is fine. It's not as bad as I remembered it. It's decent. That being said, I don't think I ever watched it again of my own accord. So I'm gonna settle and say that Guardians of the Galaxy is okay. And here, Albus, you're gonna squeeze in here with me. The list is around us right now. Keep your head down. Again, I'm still definitely looking forward to the second one, but even more so, I'm looking forward to next week, which is Avengers: Age of Ultron. Yay! That's good. You still smell like poop. Gonna wrap up Phase 2. Not with Avengers, but Ant-Man. Ant-Man's actually... I don't know why they did that. I don't really get why they decided to wrap up Phase 2 with Ant-Man. I mean, it's like, who, like, really, in the main scheme of it, like, what the fuck does that mean, like, Phase 2, Phase 1? Like, it's really just how they brand it. But, like, why wouldn't they end it with Avengers? They're doing all the other ones that way. And, like, why Ant-Man? That's not monumental. Why would they do that?